Ladies and gentlemen, dear followers of the national television of Burundi, thank you for being with us. Welcome to our English news broadcast. Without further delay, let's start with headlines. After his 2-day stay here in Burundi in the framework of official visit, the Bissau-Guinean head of state, Umaro Bissoko, took flight back at the international airport of Melchior Ndadaye. He was accompanied by his counterpart, Evariste Ndayishimiye. Several schools in Bujumbura city have already recorded instances of student dropouts over the past 2 terms. This was reported by some school headmasters found on the field. Welcome again to this English news in details. On the presentation of this English news, you are alongside with me, Evariste Niyonkuru. As I was saying, the top stories on the second and the final day of the visit by the Guinean-Bissau president to Burundi alongside his Burundian counterpart, Evariste Ndayishimiye, they undertook a series of visits to development projects in the various communes within the provinces of Gitega and Muramvya this Monday. After finalizing his stay in Burundi, in the evening of this Monday, the Bissau-Guinean head of state, Umaro Sissoco Embalo, took flight back. At Melchior Ndadaye International Airport, he was accompanied by the head of state of Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye. The Speaker of the Burundian National Assembly, Daniel Geras Ndabirabe, signed the condolence book at the Apostolic Nunch of Bujumbura to express solidarity with the Catholic worldwide who are mourning for 9 days in memory of the death of Pope Francis, which took place on this April 21st, 2025, and who was laid to rest on Saturday, April 26th. In politics, the Secretary General of the CNDD-FDD party, Reverend Ndikuriyo, calls on party members in the Mugeni and the Katawa zone of the Kayogoro commune in the new province of Burunga to remain calm and coexist peacefully with members of other political parties and get ready for the upcoming elections for legislative and the communals. Remaining politics also, let's go in Muhuta commune where on this Sunday, Jacques Bigirimana, the president of the FNL party, urged the members to refrain from using any form of defamatory language to instead foster non-violent communication with the members of other political parties. This appeal was made during a meeting convened for FNL leaders in the Muhuta commune as a part of the preparations of upcoming legislative and communal elections. Grodega Togato was in the Muhuta commune.
During an awareness meeting organized for party leaders in the commune of Muhuta, the president of the National Forces of Liberation, FNL, Jacques Bigirimana, reminded the participants that the National Assembly is the sole authority responsible for passing laws and overseeing government action. He emphasized the importance for party members, Bana Marimge, to prepare the referral so that the FNL can secure seats in the upcoming legislature. Bigirimana stressed that if the FNL succeeds in electing deputies to the National Assembly, party members would not suffer any injustices as these deputies would defend their interests. Taking advantage of the occasion, he also urged the Bana Marimge to refrain from making defamatory statements against supporters of other political parties during the electoral period, as well as from engaging in any form of aggression during party mobilization activities. He further specified that the FNL party will participate in the legislative, communal and presidential elections in accordance with the provisions of the Electoral Code.
During her recent field visit on Friday, Minister of National Solidarity, Imede Sabushimike, provided assistance to 185 families displaced by floods in Rumonge province, delivering 2 tons of rice. She also visited the Women's Association in Makamba province, commending their efforts towards development. The minister encouraged citizens to engage in income-generating activities and to participate actively in the upcoming elections. Jivanda Ishimiya reports.
During her field visit, the Minister of National Solidarity, Social Affairs, Human Rights and Gender, Imerde Sabushimike, visited Mutambara 2 site located in Gatete Zone, Rumonge Commune in Rumonge Province. This site hosts 185 families who are victims of floods that affected some localities in Rumonge Commune and Bugarama due to the overflow of Lake Tanganyika. Minister Imede Sabushimike brought 2 tons of rice and each family received more than 10 kilograms. In his speech, the representative of the governor of Rumonge Province pleaded on behalf of the victims for proper housing instead of tents, mentioning that the displaced are currently being attacked by animals in the tents. The minister in charge of human rights acknowledged the difficult situation in which the displaced people are living and highlighted that the ministry is doing its best to find solutions. Minister Sabushimike also stated that this visit was organized to share the joy of Easter. She encouraged the victims to engage in development activities while awaiting a long-term solution. Minister Sabushimike also visited the Mukenyezi Kerebuka Association, which mainly brings together women from Kabo Hill in Nyanzarake Commune, Makamba Province. This association received 6 sewing machines from the Ministry of National Solidarity. Thanks to these machines, 42 women and 5 men who are part of the association are learning to sew. Members of the association also process soybeans they grow into milk and tofu. Members of the association expressed their gratitude for the support from the ministry. In her speech, Minister Sabushimike congratulated and encouraged the members of the Mukenyezi Kerebuka Association for the progress they have made. She stated that it is through such initiative that the country will achieve its vision. Burundi is an emerging country by 2040 and a developed country by 2060. Minister Sabushimike concluded her speech by calling on them to participate massively in the upcoming elections.
As I introduced in top stories, when the 3rd term commenced this Monday, several schools in Bujumbura City have already reported instances of students dropouts over the past 2 terms. School headmasters who spoke with our newsroom team indicate that the causes vary. Marius Muhigwe was one of the team.
At different secondary schools here in the capital Bujumbura were visited on Monday, some of the headmasters of those schools say that in the recent 2 trimesters, pupils abandoned schools. At Tanganyika 2 Lycée, Laurent Kengurutse, the headmaster of that school, says that to the lack of hope to succeed, and the same remark is also observed at Buiza Municipal Lycée. Here, 10 pupils have already abandoned a school, some because of poverty in families, others the lack of hope to succeed, as well as some pupils who gave up school in order to go to search for employment, as reported by David Tangishaka, the headmaster of that school. On the contrary, no one has given up a school at Ngagala Excellence Lycée, as reported by the head of the courses department.
Beginning this Tuesday, a pilot week will be dedicated to assessing how transport providers serve the residents of Bujumbura municipality. This initiative was established during a meeting held on Monday by municipal authorities, which include the management of Sopebu, representatives from transport providers and other stakeholders, all aimed at enhancing transportation in Bujumbura municipality. Jibanda Ishimie once again.
The meeting, organized by Bujumbura Mayorship for representatives of transport operators, is part of the evaluation and the search for sustainable solutions to the challenges encountered in implementing the recently agreed upon measures in order to improve transportation conditions in Bujumbura. After listening to the concerns raised by passenger transport operators, Chiminda Ishimiye, advisor to the mayor, stated that Bujumbura Mayorship organized this meeting in response to complaints from the public who reported that some drivers refuse to take passengers all the way to the downtown Bujumbura stop. To address this issue, it was decided to launch a pilot week starting this Tuesday to assess whether buses are indeed transporting passengers to the city center and returning them to their quarters. He also urged the public to report any driver who fails to comply with this measure regarding the transporters' request to reduce the number of daily trips due to fuel shortages. The mayor's advisor specified that this pilot week would also serve to assess whether the imposed number of trips corresponds to the actual availability or whether drivers are indeed completing all the required trips. Samuel Ndaisaba, Director General of the Burundi Petroleum Company, Sopebu, and Reveriye Ndugi, Director General of Transport, both stated that this pilot week would be a period to analyze and evaluate all the previously reported challenges. Our stakeholders expressed their willingness to improve transportation in Bujumbura City.
Yes, we keep on our news broadcast. The official launch of the Al-Kimam Mosque and the Center took place in the Jabe First Quarter on Friday. This facility was constructed by a Burundian residing in Belgium and will cater to both Muslims and non-Muslims through self-financing activities. The legal representative of Komibu encourages other members of the diaspora to join in and contribute to the development of the country. Marias Muhigwa once again.
The ceremony is marking the official inauguration of this mosque and the center started by Friday prayers, which was led by the Director General of the center, Al-Hikman et la Mosque, Zekelia Imlam Ichen. After these prayers, they inaugurated officially this center. This center will help Muslims as well as others for social and economic empowerment. And this for young people as well as others in order to improve economy and education. Those leaders have visited different rooms of this mosque while will be conducted different activities. Here we name classrooms, conference hall, library, as well as many other places. Either the Director General of the Center, Ndikuma Shaban Ismail Gogos, or those who have supported in the implementation of this project, all have appreciated this initiative as dreams were achieved positively. The head of the Muslim community here in Burundi, Sheikh Salum Nayabagabo, calls on all Muslims to combine efforts and to sit together so as to build the national headquarters of Muslims and contribute in the development of the country in order to achieve the 2040 and 2060 vision. Those ceremonies were concluded by signing in a VIP book, but also sharing a food.
Before concluding our news broadcast, let's have an eye to sports. This week's major sports news highlights the elections of new leadership for the Burundi National Olympic Committee, SENO in French acronym, as well as the national semi-finals that took place this Sunday in Bujumbura. Jackson Lakoze has more.
This Saturday, elections were held to establish a new leadership team for National Olympic Committee of Burundi, SENO in French acronym, the body uniting the country's sports federations. As a result, Madam Meridian Sekera was re-elected as the president of the committee. During those elections, a secretary general and a treasurer general were also appointed, followed by the election of representatives of various federations and vice presidents of the newly elected team. Meanwhile, on Saturday, in the political capital city of Gitega, hosted a basketball game between two local teams, Dinos and Simba. The match ended with a victory for Simba, who scored 60 points against Dinos' 46. After the game, awards were handed out to the best performing teams, including a trophy, game balls, and motivational envelopes. Also on Sunday, national level volleyball matches took place. In men's semi-finals, Bisolo in yellow defeated Rukinzo in white by 3 sets 2-2. Later, Boone in striped uniforms overcame Muzinga with 3 sets 2-2. On the women's side, Rezas in white beat Muzinga by 3 sets 2-1. GRC in white won at a score of 3 sets 2-0 over Estetica in red. David Bigirimana, Secretary General of Burundi's Volleyball Federation, confirmed that the finals will be held on May 3rd and 4th this year. It is worth noting that in the final phase, Rukinzo will face Spoon and Bisolo will take on Muzinga in the men's category. On the women's side, GRC will clash with Muzinga while Lasers will go head-to-head with Estetica.
Great. It was Evariste Nengo, the presentation of this news broadcast. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.